Hello, friends. I'm Martin Roca. Welcome to my presentation. I want to thank Tennis Australia for the invitation once again to this conference. I'm thrilled and honored to be part of this lineup surrounded by amazing professionals. What I want to show you is the way I work with little kids. I've been coaching for 32 years now. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I worked there for 8 years and then I moved to New York for 5 years. Now I live in Spain, in the Barcelona area, and I've been here for almost 2 decades. So, grabbing ideas from different countries, different methodologies, that led to make me see the way I have to coach kids with a personal perspective. I call that mini players. It's like you can call it philosophy, a methodology, a system. Um, I think it's the way I understand how we have to teach the kids in order to engage them in love this sport and practice it no matter what they are. If they're very skillful, if they're not, they have to learn how to play the sport and we have to get the best performance out of them. I see myself as a very technical coach. I want my kids to have proper technique, proper footwork, good positioning on the court, a good understanding of the game. Some things we don't teach that much, like and make them understand why they have to hit a cross court shot instead of a down the line, according to the situation on the court. When they have to attack, when do they have to retrieve? We have to make them understand that they have to make decisions and we have to set up the training sessions for that. I want my kids also to have good behavior on the court, be respectful to everything related to the sport, coaches, teammates, opponents, umpires, facilities, equipment. They have to respect all of that. I'm very focused on that too. But I'm saying this because I see that we make the introduction to the sport very technical. I see the idea of, okay, I give you the tools so you can play better the sport. So I'll teach you the technique first. What happens is, and it is my opinion, we make it too boring. We make it too technical in the beginning. So a 3, 4, 5-year-old kid is coming with the idea of, okay, I'm going to play tennis. And what they do is, just staying on the line. They have one coach telling them, okay, point this hand towards the net, which in my opinion is a mistake. Racket back. When I bounce the ball, you hit and follow through. Okay, I understand. That's the idea. If you have the technique, you can play the sport better. But this is the introduction of the game I'm talking about. You see kids coming with the idea of playing a sport, and all of a sudden they find themselves standing still like a robot, hitting or trying to hit a ball, because sometimes they don't even hit it because it's the first time they grab a racket and they see a ball bouncing in front of them and they have to make contact, and also they have to finish the shot because the coach is focused too much on the follow through. This is another topic we can discuss, but it's too mechanic in my opinion. We make it too boring. So in order to engage the kids, we have to do something different. We have to tell them, okay, we're going to let you play. We're going to give you some ideas. We're going to guide you. Okay, this is the way you're going to hold the racket. This is the way you're going to toss the ball. This is the way you're going to play with your teammates. But we have to make it fun and also work on their motricity, work on their skills, work on their coordination, because kids nowadays don't have the skills that kids had 30 years ago. Kids don't go out on the streets anymore. They don't play. They don't climb up trees. They don't play by themselves because parents go too fanatic about safety and safety measures, and if they ride a bike they have to wear a helmet and pads all over the body because they don't want them to get hurt. What we have to do in the sessions is to work on coordination, work on the way they move their body. They understand how to use their body, how to use an implement like a tennis racket or a tennis ball. And according to that, we are going to make them understand and enjoy the game and have fun, but also improve their skills. What you see in this video is that you see kids, 3, 4, 5-year-olds in the same group doing the same tracks. Obviously, the goals they have for each other, they're different. You have to adapt to their possibilities. Some of them will make it faster. Some of them will take more time to do it. But you have to ask them to do what they can, not more than that. You have to challenge them sometimes, but the thing is to maintain them doing activities all the time, always active, always in motion, and reproducing mechanics that they want to do when they play tennis. Also, if you play games with them, try to engage them in team competitions, because if you challenge them and they reach the goal, they consider it as a team victory. This way, every play will feel important. As you can see in my sessions, every ball counts. So you don't see loose balls on the ground. Every time they push the ball or they hit the ball, there's someone waiting for the ball to be hit. It's either a coach, it's either a teammate. Sometimes they try to hit a cone, but every ball counts. It's important for them to understand that they cannot hit the ball hard and out of control. So every time they hit it, there's someone waiting for it. As I was saying before, and you can see it now, every time they hit, there's a target for them. So it's easy for me to make them understand that the ball is important where they hit it, that they have to hit it under control. There's always a destination for that ball, and it makes it easier for me to reach the goal of having the kids rallying by themselves. This is also one thing I'd like to mention, is that we always change the coordination games that we do in the beginning, because the variety allows them to improve their skills. We challenge them using both hands, using different tracks, different goals. We ask them to do shots in different positions, like this one you see right now. You challenge the kids and you'll be surprised. Something peculiar you might find in my sessions is the fact that we don't use baskets, we don't feed balls. The kids are only using one ball per session, and the reason why is because ball control is very important. So what they do is, every time they toss the ball, every time they push the ball with a racket, or they hit the ball with a racket, the ball has a target, has a destination. So every time they do that, they push it or they toss it, they have to get that ball back and then go back to the obstacle tracks and reuse it. So I don't like the fact that probably you saw it. Kids hitting forehands, let's say, and then they repeat the mechanic 10 times. And coaches are focused on the mechanics, But if you pay attention to the destination of each ball they hit, sometimes they don't even hit the ball. But if you see that, the ball is going everywhere. If we are talking about, at this point, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids that are playing red ball stage, what happens is they play in a very small area. So if you don't prepare them to hit the ball in a small area under control, they're not going to be able to rally. And don't forget that tennis is a game of interacting. You hit the ball and you wait for the ball to come back. So if you teach the kids to just hit the ball and pick up and go back to the line and hit 10 balls again, you're not preparing the kids to a proper game of tennis. They're just making contact, or they're reproducing a shot or mechanic, but they're not ready to interact. So you have to prepare them for that. As I was mentioning before, every time they hit the ball has a target, and then that ball is being reused. Everything they do also is we work as a team. And then if they do games, if they move around, like in this one, the team has to accomplish a goal. And every time they do it, you do it as a team. So that mentality, it helps them to understand that they don't have to be selfish. They have to work with the teammates and cooperate. Like when they pick up balls, when they collect the equipment, or when they fix the court, there's always cooperation. Something to discuss. Coaches insisting too much on kids following through when they hit. For example, this 3-year-old kid is hitting the ball in the target with only making contact, no backswing, no follow through. It's not necessary for him to go for a full swing, because being at close range and hitting the ball in front, he can accomplish his goal of hitting the eye of the monster, as you can see right there. This is another case of a player who's not preparing the racket and not following through, but in my opinion, she's playing tennis. I give her good feedback, so she's happy for what she's doing. She accomplishes the goal. She has to hit the ball back at me, and the ball is under control. If you hit the ball 10 times and you're not worried about where the ball is landing, and you have to pick up those balls and get back to the line, do you consider that that is playing tennis? In my opinion, this is playing tennis, exchanging shots with a teammate or with a coach and having fun with it. As we see these kids, they're different ages working on different skills. We're going to prepare for the Orange Ball group and the activities that we do with the kids. Orange Ball kids. These kids have been playing with us for some years now, a couple of years probably, and they have basic skills of knowing how to use the implements, how to control the body, how to control the balance, and how to hit the ball under control. Now we have to teach them the basics, the fundamentals, like for example in this case, split step, chasing a ball, ball tracking, hitting with without losing balance, controlling the ball, and recovery steps. Progressions allow coaches and players to reach their goals by simply following some steps. Coaches can increase the level of difficulties as the kids are doing fine the previous steps. And for kids, it's much better when they do everything little by little, and so they can understand much better what they do and feel more confident about it. Now we're going to see a series of videos of this same girl. She's a 7-year-old player. As you can see, we work a lot on fundamentals, split steps, good swing, feet moving all the time, good rhythm when she hits, ball control. She always hits the ball to me. Now we see this video was taken a few months later, and then you see much more fluid swing, very intense when she hits, good ball control. Personally, I don't like feeding balls and not paying attention where the ball is landing. Now in this case, we were working on the non-dominant hand, left hand in her case, trying to get more acceleration on the swing. She was using a lighter racket, a smaller one, and then switching to her racket to get more power and fluid swing, get more speed on the left hand, and this way I tried to make it easier to understand how to get a more natural swing and get more speed with less effort. Obviously, we try to transfer that into a playing situation, and for example, if she needs to change directions, she can go for a winner, like in this case. This is a case of many drills we do trying to think outside the box, trying to get them to be prepared for any situation and open the perspective, not always waiting for the ball coming from the other side, using continental grip to get the wrist ready for any situation. In this particular progression, we were working on the smash. In a fun way, we were trying to get her under the ball using the head now, after that using a cone, just to catch the ball and get the body ready for contact. Just focusing on the contact now, not following through, not doing the full swing. And then eventually trying to combine the volley and the smash in the proper positioning. One small advice for coaches: if you do this progression, try to use sponge balls, so if you get hit, you don't get hurt. As we move into the green ball group, you see we work on continental grip. This is part of the warm-up they do every time they start a session. I do simple progressions with them even when they're in the red ball stage to get them used to this grip. So that makes it easier for them to handle the racket when they hit, for example, volleys and overheads, serves, and also slice backhands. Considering most of these girls are playing two-handed backhands, it's easier for them with these progressions to handle the racket with a one-handed swing. Now connecting with those previous progressions, you see kids playing in small areas, trying to get used to the grip and using the slice backhand. It's easier this way to control the ball when they hit, for example in this case, that are trying to move forward and connect the baseline game with the net. I also like to challenge them using alternative equipment. In this case, we have a ball on the court and then they have to hit it and eventually try to simulate that they're returning the drop shot from the opponent, hit the ball over the net using that slice backhand they were previously working on. In order to have the kids always active, I use either stations on the court or drills that are very active and dynamic. They have the kids always moving, always busy with certain activities, working different skills. For example, we were working on the open sense forehand. They weren't pushing that with that right leg, as you can see, that much, but these were the first sessions with them. They were trying to get used to the dynamics. And then eventually when you work day in, day out with these situations, they improve it. As you see, different stations now. On the Bosu, they were working on the shoulder rotation. On the Topspin Pro, they move away from the ball and find the right distance to hit. And when they hit with me, they combine footwork, ball control, rotation, moving away from the ball, and they're always active. Two important things when you do this is that the progressions that have to be aligned with the goal that you have in the session. And number two, when you work with the little girls, let them express themselves. And yes, be patient. Just following what we saw in the previous video, you adapt the stations now to combine forehands and backhands so they can work on rotation, moving away from the ball, and striking the ball from both sides. As you can see in all these videos, I like using all types of equipment. In this case, the Bosu allows me to work on the positioning. I want my kids to play with balance, body straight, not losing control of the body. When they use a step, I want to teach them how to move forward and be aggressive with the split. Obviously, when they hit shots in mid-court and they move forward, they have to know where to hit. Why do they have to hit a cross-court volley after a down-the-line shot, for example? I make them understand how the game works and have a much clearer idea on how the game is played. Then we use the Topspin Pro, for example, to get more topspin on their shots and combine topspin and slice. In this particular case, they're working on attacking down the line and hitting the cross-court volley to the open space. It gives me much better results when they understand why they have to hit some shots or with certain directions. Make them understand the game is much more important than just following instructions. Understanding the game helps them to make more accurate decisions. This girl, for example, is very competitive, but her swings are always too mechanic. So we're working on rotation and trying to make the swings more fluid, and at the same time working on the positioning and the footwork, closed stance and open stance. Then we transfer that to using the racket and hitting the ball in the center with closed stance, as you see now. Trying to find a much more fluid swing, more natural, and then going for the ball in the corner with the open stance, crossover step, recovering steps to the center, and make it fluid, make it natural, and find a good rhythm. I learned this from my friend coach Patrick Simon from France, using smaller rackets and sponge balls to get more consistency, put pressure on the players not missing, and finding a good contact point. In this case, we were using squash rackets. The smaller racket size allowed me to work on the contact point and hitting the ball always in the center of the sweet spot, and the results were excellent. I highly recommend this drill. Another tool that we use on the court, the Serve Master allows the kids to know how to swing the arm, use the more dynamic fluid motion, and when they get to use the racket, they get a more fluid swing. Moving into the yellow ball stage, there's one thing that I see in Spain that is particularly something that I don't quite agree with, is once the kids get to the yellow ball stage, they stop working on coordination games or correcting technique. They just rally a lot and then work on directions and controlling the ball, being consistent but not working specifically on technique. When they jump over stages, they immediately have problems with the grips because of the high bouncing balls, and this is something we have to keep an eye on. And of course, always being demanding, but also trying to create a fun environment for the kids. Now let's see also some boys, because they seem to be discriminated in this video, but in this case, we were working on playing defense, moving to the corner, taking a few steps back and hitting the ball high on cross court and getting used to the swing. And to wrap up this presentation, something I like working on, especially when they're 6 or 7, trying to teach the kids how to return the serve. Number 1, using an aggressive split step forward, trying to catch the ball in front of the body. Eventually they will get the racket and they will try to block the ball in front of the body too. And the last progression of this drill will be using the racket and trying to hit the ball in front. I teach the kids that when especially if they're under 10, none of the kids they're playing against, they're very good at serving. So they have to be aggressive on the return, especially when they get a second serve. So you create that mentality of being aggressive on the return, and they can dominate the point from their first ball. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as I did. I'm a person that loves tennis, and I like discussing with people about tennis in developing ages or this presentation. If you have questions, you want to debate, you want to exchange information, I'm always open to talk about that. You can reach me through different channels on social media, emails. I'm always open. So please don't hesitate and get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Once again, thank you, Tennis Australia, for this opportunity. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.